Today I'm going to show you how to change a coolant on a 2007 Honda Civic Si. This should work for most 8th generation Civic Si, but the procedure is pretty similar to other Civics or Hondas. For this one, it's going to take about 1.2 gallons, so I got me 2 gallons there, and what you're going to need is also something to catch the old coolant. So to start, what we're going to do is we're going to put the heater control here on max. We're going to set this one off. We're going to start the car. And then, so make sure it's on max here. This one's off. Start for about a second, and that's it. And then we're going to shut off the car. So before we start working on the car, what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure the engine's nice and cool to the touch. You don't want to work on a hot engine. So if you touch little hoses here, it's nice and cool. Normally before I take out the radiator cap, what I normally do is I just use a rag just to cover it, so just in case there's still a little under pressure, water might be squirting out a little bit. So what you're going to do is just spin it counterclockwise and then just lift it up. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen the drain plug and just drain the coolant out. So the location is, if you go straight down the center of the car, and if you go straight down there, and you come down here, hopefully this video comes out right, but it's gonna be located right in the center, right there. This is, let's see if I can find my finger right there. That white piece right there. You're gonna spin it counterclockwise and to drain the coolant. So right up there, oh, right here where my finger is touching right there. Okay. So what you're gonna do is just reach back here. Feel for the drain plug. What you're going to do is spin it counterclockwise. Make sure to get ready to catch the coolant when it comes out. There you go. You don't have to spin the plug all the way out. Just spin enough so the coolant will come out. So once you're done draining and the coolant stopped coming out of there, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna close it. So make sure it's tight, but not overly tight. And you're gonna close it. Make sure to dispose of it properly. You can probably call your local auto store just to dispose of it. Don't throw it down the drain. Now that the coolant's empty already and we tightened the drain plug, what we're going to do is we're going to empty the reservoir, which is this here. You don't have to take out the battery. It will be a little bit hard to take it out. So I'll show you here how to take it out. Now if you find it difficult, just disconnect the battery and just take it out. But you should be able to just pull it like there, separate the hose, and then this should just come straight up. If you pull it straight up, and it should come out if you work it just a little bit like that. Okay, and then you're gonna empty it, and then we're gonna fill it up with new coolant. So now that we emptied the coolant, if you look inside here, there's some dirt and sediment. What you want to do is you want to clean that. Normally what I do is you can stick maybe a little stick and just clean it up and just empty it. You don't want anything dirty in there before we put in the new coolant. What I do is I'll just spray in there and just shoot some of the sediment out, and then just shake it a little bit and then just empty, so make sure you get all the sediment out. So before we put this back in the car, what we're going to do is we're going to fill it with new coolant. Give it about halfway full. So now that we filled it halfway full, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this reservoir back. Just know that there's this latch right here, this U-shaped. it's gonna fit into this white piece down there. It looks like a C kind of. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is just see if you can slide it back in. Again, if you're not unable to do this, you can take off the battery, make it a little bit easier. But if you carefully slide it down, and I hold on to the top like this just to help with it, and then all you're gonna do is just push it down and make sure it clicks when it goes down. So now that it's in place, we just clean the tube, make sure everything's good, all the pipings, and we're just gonna spin it back. Yeah, of course you don't want to spin it too tight. So there you go, it's back in place now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill up the coolant into the radiator. So what we're gonna do now is gonna fill this all the way to the top. They do have one of these easy funnel fillers here, but I'm gonna show you how to. You don't necessarily need it. It does make it easier, but what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fill it all the way up with the new coolant. Now we filled the radiator with the coolant all the way near the top, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna loosely put the cap on top, and then we're gonna start the car, let it run until it warms up. So that means the fan has to run at least twice. It might take anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes for the fans to start. So now that the car's running, we're gonna wait 2 fans. When the fan runs twice, that means it's done. So all we're doing now is just waiting. Just a little note that while it's running, sometimes coolant will bubble up a little bit. That means it's just bleeding out the air, so you just wipe around it. We're gonna wait again. Probably it might be like anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes before you can hear both the fans coming on. Not both the fans, I'm sorry, when the fan comes on twice. So now as you hear here, the fan just came on. So once at least the fan came on at least twice. Once it's done, what we're going to do is we're going to shut off the engine, clean up all the little spills there. So now we just shut off the engine. We're just going to clean up all the mess, but first we'll just make sure we'll close the radiator cap, make sure it's really tight, and then just clean up. And now you really are done. Thanks for subscribing and watching my video.